All right. We are back, somewhat unfortunately. Backdoor cuts. I took a little bit of time off with the holidays, football season, back in basketball season. So I'm miserable. I'm fucking miserable. I don't want to talk about Kentucky anymore. That's where I am. Like I am wearing a Division 3 basketball school because I don't want to fucking talk about Kentucky. But I have to. It's been too damn long. It's been miserable. Last night was rock bottom. Not losing to St. Peter's, not losing to Evansville. That team won the SEC before COVID canceled the tournament. Not the 9-16 year. That at least had an excuse. There was COVID. That was an excuse. Guys didn't get on campus, whatever. I was willing to look at that as an aberration for everything else. Not the 2013 NIT where they lost Robert Morris. That was a Nerlens Noel injury when they were a top 25 team. You lose him, you go to the NIT. You don't lose him, they're in the tournament. That was also a decade ago. Losing to South Carolina at home after you get your ass kicked at Alabama, after every fan is pleading with some sort of difference, after the report comes out that Texas has reached out to John Calipari, which isn't surprising, you do that at home. And listen, I'm not defending Calipari. Calipari has been dog shit this year. His lineup rotations don't make any sense. His decisions to keep Severe Wheeler is ultimately why he's going to get run out of Lexington. I'll touch on that in a second. The fact that he refuses to adapt to 2022 and have a small ball four and shooting and guards that can make plays and tries to run an offense through Oscar Tshiebwe, who, yeah, he won National Player of the Year last year. He's not a talented basketball player. He won National Player of the Year because he worked his ass off and tried harder than anyone. He won National Player of the Year because he got 20 rebounds a game. And he finished layups. You don't run an offense through an Oscar Tshiebwe. He needs to be like your third or fourth option. You come out and go down 13-2 to the worst team in the SEC. Maybe not the worst team in the SEC. That might be us for all I fucking know at this point. That's as embarrassing as it gets. We're talking Kentucky basketball. This is the biggest name in the sport. This is arguably the most successful program in the sport. And this is the shit we're dealing with. Now, why did I say Calipari's going to get run out of Lexington because of Severe Wheeler? He's too loyal. It goes back to his inability to adapt. The fact that you have this lead guard in Wheeler who can't create on his own. Spare me the assist numbers. He's not a winner. Spare me defense. He gambles a lot. Got steals. People thought he was a good defender. He gets burnt. He is a disaster defensively. And the last 2 years showed why you can't win with Severe Wheeler as point guard. Last year's team was better when Wheeler went out with injury and Ty Washington took over the lead guard role. Then Ty ended up getting hurt towards the end of the year. But when Ty was healthy, he had to be the lead guard. This year, Cason Wallace, everyone with a brain knows the offense is better with Cason Wallace. Instead, we move him off ball and you have Severe Wheeler running late shot clock pick and rolls. The guy's not a threat to shoot. He's an average at best decision maker. He's an average at best playmaker. He's a below average finisher. He's a below average shooter. He's a below average free throw shooter. John Calipari deciding to do that 2 years in a row, that's why he's getting run out of town. Now, I said it in the blog the other day. I am okay giving John Calipari one more year because of the recruiting class coming in. It's getting tougher to say that. But I don't believe in the transfer portal to save Kentucky basketball. Not for a year. I know it's working somewhat at LSU. I know it's working somewhat at Missouri. But Kentucky is not LSU and Missouri. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Who is coming in from the transfer portal that is saving a season in a first-year coach at Kentucky? Doesn't matter who Kentucky goes and hires if Calipari leaves for Texas. There is no one that's coming in to save the season where you go, that's the guy. There's going to be expectations. It's Kentucky. There are Final Four national title expectations every single damn year. Part of that's because of Calipari. Part of that's because of the success of the entire program. Part of it's just how fans operate. So spare me the transfer portal. There are a list of 5 coaches that I think you need to call if Calipari leaves. It's a short list. If you hire them, great. If you don't, are you getting someone better than Cal? I know his offense is archaic. I know he's dog shit this year. But the 5 coaches, you call Jay Wright first. It's a no-brainer. Make him say no. Then you call Scott Drew. Then you call Eric Musselman. Then you call Nate Oates and Tommy Lloyd. Those are the 5 coaches. Outside of that, I don't know who you get. Brad Stevens, whatever. I'm not going down the Brad Stevens train. But we're at the point now where fans are losing their minds because if you try to say it's players' fault, you're defending Calipari. Last night was more on the players than Calipari to me. They were making some of the simplest mistakes. I mean, mistakes like junior basketball. I'm talking 5th and 6th grade people don't make. Switches on defense. Grabbing the ball. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, Calipari's scheme sucks. His lineup rotations suck, but players still have to make plays. Like, it's not Calipari's fault that Severe Wheeler misses free throws 25 feet to the left. It's not, it's his fault that he's out there. It's his fault that he's in the program. But your starting point guard can't make a free throw at home. Oscar Tshiebwe, talking about how people need to fight. He might not be 100% this year, but he's been lazy this year. He gave up a key rebound last night because he immediately started complaining to the ref, wasn't paying attention, gave up a rebound. And he thinks he's a playmaker. He's getting frustrated, and all of a sudden he catches a one-pass offense, 18-foot shot. Bro, you're Oscar Tshiebwe. Get your ass in the post, rebound, finish. So here's where we are with Kentucky. I am done talking about Kentucky the rest of this year unless they get a real hot streak or something happens with Calipari. This is the least enjoyable team I've ever watched. This is the most frustrating team I ever watched. I don't even think these guys like each other. I don't think they like playing with each other. I don't think they like playing at Kentucky. There's one real talented player on the roster. That's Cason Wallace. Right now, he's the only pro. Livingston maybe will get there. Or he'll transfer and look like Bryce Hopkins. Toppin, I don't think he's a pro. Oscar, look at Luka Garza. He'll float in and out of 10-day contracts and 2-way contracts. Wheeler, he ain't a pro. Who am I forgetting? Damian Collins, not a pro. Lance Ware, not a pro. Lance Ware tries his ass off. He's just not talented enough to be at Kentucky. That's the fact. And if he is talented enough to be at Kentucky, he needs to be like the old Marcus Lee, where he's playing very, very spare minutes. There's no chance Muss or Oates leaves the program. I disagree. I mean, again, Muss is more safe to stay than Oates. Alabama is not a forever job. Arkansas is more of a forever job, but again, when you're talking about the ultimate blue bloods that can pay them more money, that can give them better resources, that can do whatever they want, they listen to that call. That's not insane here. No Mark Few. A, I don't think Mark Few leaves Gonzaga. Why would he? And B, remember, he is good friends with Calipari. I don't know if he'd come in right after Calipari. Do you think Cal's constructing this team with the idea in mind that Shaedon Sharpe would be on it has a major effect? No, because it's the era of college basketball. And listen, I don't care. Like, I'm all for the portal. I'm all for guys being able to leave, whatever. You have to prepare for whatever. So why would you construct it around one guy? And again, we don't know what all was said in backdoor meetings with Sharpe and Calipari and everything, but he had an all offseason. This team went to the Bahamas. That's an advantage. And this is what you get. It's atrocious. Like, it's not even JV basketball mistakes. The fact that these guys can't do simple shit. Like, how many times are Wheeler and Oscar going to get put in a pick and roll and get destroyed defensively? How do you not know how to guard that if you're playing high-level basketball? Now, yes, offenses are improved, but they're giving up dunks. It's the most frustrating thing I've ever watched. And I was there during the Billy Gillespie year. I was there during the last 2 years of Tubby. I fucking watched the Knicks religiously. And this is more frustrating. That should never, ever be the case with Kentucky basketball. I'm not saying you got to win a title every year. That's fucking crazy. UCLA has the most titles in the history of the sport. They have 11. The sport's been around for a century. But coming what Cal did, 09 to 15, it's the best in college basketball. Then you look, and it hasn't been shit completely, right? Darren Fox team loses on a buzzer being the lead. That team was really good. Got a brutal draw. Lost to UNC at the buzzer. Fucking Luke Mack. And John Higgins. The Tyler Hero team chokes in lead 8 game away to Auburn in overtime. Some of that's on the players. Some of it's on Cal. 2020, they win the SEC. Who knows what they do in the tournament? I really like that team. Nick Richards was awesome. Quickly. They were set up for success. Then it's been shit since then. And I know last year was like they were the 6th best team in the country, but you're coming off a loss to St. Peter's in the NCAA tournament. You return a majority of people. Where the hell is the fight? Where the hell is having any heart? It is rock bottom. Any young mid-major coaches you think that could take the program over? No. You don't hire a mid-major coach. Again, like it's the Kentucky job is different. Kentucky, Kansas, UNC, Duke. Those 4 jobs are probably the best jobs in the country when you talk to people around the sport. If you can't get one of the biggest names and one of the better coaches, and you have to settle for a mid-major coach, you're not at Kentucky. There's also not a young mid-major coach that's A, ready for that jump, and B, good enough for that jump. Like, I like a lot of the mid-major coaches. I think Pat Kelsey can be a really good high-major coach. He's at Charleston right now. You don't go from Winthrop to Charleston with that one day at UMass to Kentucky. I mean, what else is there? Like, Preston Spalding at Morehead State has ties to Kentucky. You don't go from Morehead State to Kentucky. Like, there's no one else in the like Florida, you go and get Todd Golden from San Francisco. Florida's not even close to the same tier of job as Kentucky. So yeah, I don't see how you go and get a mid-major coach.
Yeah, Reags,
You say all these awful things about the program, but it's one of the top 4 jobs in the country. Delusional. No, it's just fucking facts. Kentucky is arguably the best job in the country. Like, ask anyone outside of me. You can ask any insider. You can ask anybody associated with college basketball. Like, I'm sorry, I know those people. They say it. It's first or second best job in the country. You have all the resources. You have a shit ton of money. You have the history. You have 5 coaches that have won national titles there. You have past history, recent history, everything. You're the biggest show in town. Everyone in the world agrees it's one of the top 2 jobs in the country. And I'm not saying awful things about the program. I'm saying awful things about this fucking team. They suck. Like, what? There's a difference. Billy Gillespie's team sucked. Guess what? They went and got John Calipari, the best coach they could have got at the time. Turned it around. Like, what are we doing here? That's just dumb. Scott Drew, next UK coach. That would be my pick. I want Scott Drew if you move on from Calipari. In order, I want, now obviously Jay Wright, but I don't think Jay Wright's taking Kentucky. You call him, you make him say no, but Jay Wright ain't taking it. He's, I think, going to take a few years off. I want Scott Drew first, Musselman second, and then Tommy Lloyd and Nate Oates in some order. I don't think I'm crazy for wanting that. And I'm pretty sure Doogs froze, which is a hilarious face. There you are. It's historic and amazing pageantry. We get no time or patience from fans at the moment. There's no patience for fans at the moment because they are in one of their worst seasons of all time. They're 2 years removed from winning 9 games again in the COVID year. They're 1 year removed from the most embarrassing loss in NCAA tournament history. They now lost to South Carolina at home. That's not patience. That's expectations from the most basic Kentucky fans. Like, it's just patience. We've been patient. Like, people want success. You don't lose to South Carolina at home. The last 2 times Kentucky lost to South Carolina at home, a coach got fired. How do you get Cal at the door? There are 2 ways. He can leave, say for the Texas job, then you don't owe him anything. After next season, he can move into an ambassador role within the university for $1 million a year. Those are the 2 ways. Otherwise, he has the contract through like 2028 or whatever, or there's a buyout. That's why I'm fine. Again, I'm fine, and it's hard. It's getting harder to say, but I'm fine with giving him one more year. Does Oscar feel a little Russell Wilson-ish? I know players don't like Cal, but it honestly looks like those guys don't play with Oscar. I don't know if it's Russell Wilson. Listen, I don't think he's 100% healthy this year. Part of it is also I think he's trying to do as much as possible. So maybe it's Russell Wilson in that sense, where he's not corny. Like, Russell Wilson's a cornball. I think everyone knows, like, outside of Broncos fans can agree with that. And maybe even Broncos fans agree with that now. But he's trying to make as much money as possible. He's talked about how he doesn't want the St. Peter's loss to be like his legacy. I think it's a combo. Billy Donovan has to get a call. Jay Wright is getting a call. Just say no. No, Billy Donovan's been out of the game for a long time. I understand people want Billy Donovan to get a call. I'd have him like 7th or 8th on my list. I'd have him after Jay Wright and the rest of the guys. I'm okay with losing games that we need to look competent. That's the saddest statement about Kentucky basketball I've ever heard. That fans are okay losing games, but we have to look competent. That's how we used to talk about Kentucky football. Like, we played fucking Florida close, but we look good. This is, Dukes, I said it. This is the last time I'm talking about Kentucky this year, unless they rattle off like 10 straight wins or something happens with Calipari, because I've hit rock bottom. I hit so rock bottom that Marty Bush texted me last night.
What did he say?
That I should be ashamed of myself.
Dude, you were saying it all year. I thought it was a little bit of an overreaction. I can't believe how hard the mighty have fallen. For real.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought you
it
guys were
is
turning
weird.
it around too.
What'd you say?
I thought you guys were turning it around once Toppin put up 20 and 2 straight.
Yeah, listen, Toppin's really good against bad teams.
Yeah.
He's really good against bad teams. He's not good against good teams. That's kind of how this team is, except South Carolina. Like, we're just bad now.
I happen to agree with the Oscar take. Do you think you guys would be better without Oscar?
Yeah, so it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, last year he was National Player of the Year, and a large reason why Kentucky had success. But in 2022, you can't run offense through a big. Like I said it when you were not in here, he's not talented. Like, he's not a talented basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not saying he's not good. There's a difference, right? Like, there's one talented player on this team. It's Cason Wallace. But he can't create his own shot. He doesn't really have post moves, right? He's not Hakeem out there. He's not doing like the shake. His strength is working his ass off, outworking the people by him, getting rebounds and finishing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't run an offense through a guy like that. And that's one of the biggest problems. So I do, it is a double-edged sword where Oscar has won them some games. He's kept them in some games. But he also just clogs the lane, and you feel like you have to throw the ball into the post when, like, there are better options. Like, Cason Wallace not being the focal point of this offense is batshit crazy. He's the only talented player on this roster right now.
He's my favorite player to watch. Outside of any Dayton player, he's my favorite player in the country.
Right. Like, he's good. Like, he's good.
Really good.
He can shoot. He can finish at the rim.
Great defender.
He's a great defender. He's a great passer.
Hustles.
He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
So why is the ball not in his hands all the time?
This same situation as Kofi in Illinois. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, to a degree. Like, I understand that comparison for sure. Do you think Cal will ever play Livingston at the 3? He's too stubborn not to run a modern offense. Oscar, Livingston is not a 3. Modern offense is Livingston at the 4. That's what's pissing me off. It's this simple. Wallace should be your lead guard. Frederick and Reeves should be playing on the wings because you have 3 shooters. Reeves can attack. Frederick's a great shooter. Wallace can do both. Livingston at the 4, or Toppin at the 4, whoever's playing better, and then Oscar at the 5. The fact that lineup is not being used when healthy the majority of minutes is why Calipari is going to get run out of town. Wrong number, might be. Okay, that makes sense. I was going to that triggered me more than anything else. Like, it's so simple. It's so simple. Why at full health, and we've not seen this lineup a lot, why are you not running 3 shooters, 2 playmakers, a modern day 4, and Oscar at the 5? Everyone else does. Look at Kansas. Like, how does John Calipari not see what Bill Self is doing at Kansas? He's running like a 6'7" center. And he has a bunch of playmakers, shooters, a really good lead guard in DeJuan Harris. How does he not see that? Them coming off a national championship to being one of the 4 best teams in the country this year and go, nope, my way's going to fucking work. That's where I'm losing my mind. Because Calipari almost was, a couple years ago, underrated as a coach. And Sam Vecini had said this. And I think Sam's one of the smartest guys out there when it comes to kind of evaluating basketball. But he was like, it's gotten to the point where people think Cal just rolls the ball out, that he became underrated as a coach. And now it's back to the other side where he forgot everything about X's and O's and He's obviously overrated again as a coach. It's just simple shit. It's just adapt or die. It's like anything else in life. It's anything else in life. Adapt or die. So that's my rant on Kentucky. What did I do? I did 25 minutes. I'm done because they make me want to do certain things myself. At least Dayton's good now, Doogs.
Yeah. We're one behind Kentucky in KenPom. That's when you know it's bad for you.
We filled 20 spots yesterday.
Yeah.
And you guys are just out there. Deron Holmes is just beating the shit out of Fordham.
Yeah, legitimately kicking the shit out of Fordham.
And you're hanging out with your best friend.
Exactly.
Dance class, right?
Yeah, dance class.
Oh, so all right, let's move on to picks because today's card's loaded, or today's slate is loaded. I hate that so many good games are at 7:00. Like I don't have enough screens to watch all the games at 7:00. Let me ask you this: last time we talked, I put out a blog yesterday too, giving some futures. My Houston preseason future to win the national title still looks good. Baylor does not look great. Kentucky's dead. I gave out a long shot of Miami to make the Final Four, which still can happen, and Texas to make the Final Four, which still can happen. What team would you take now? We talked about it last time where I think we said like UConn and someone else. What team now are you kind of like, all right, we're at the benchmark now where football's ending. I want to get another future in. Who would you take?
I don't want to give mine because people are going to say it's I literally think that Dayton to make the Final Four right now is a great bet.
It's not crazy. It's not crazy. They are. Let me see. I have the sports book up out right now. If I can get the.
It's crazy to say because you come in with these high expectations as like a mid-major, one of these hot trendy picks. You start the season off, you can't beat any good competition. The A10 sucks, but like Dayton's playing good ball right now. They're gelling together, and they're missing two of their starters. Yeah, so you're telling me right now you can get them at an all-time low to make the Final Four, come in as like an 11 seed. You like an 11 seed making a Final Four run isn't crazy nowadays. You're not going to get any higher than like an 11. Really not going to get any higher than an 11 if you're an at-large or even automatic qualifier in the A10 this year. So that's my probably my future right now that I like. I mean, if you're going off of like anything non-homerish, how do you not take a stab at St. Mary's to win the WCC?
So Dayton's 35-1 to make the Final Four. That's not. I mean, they're right. They're even with LSU, Michigan, Marquette, Nova, Virginia Tech, Arizona State.
And then I like St. Mary's to win the WCC plus 250.
Yeah, I like that too. The one team I would look at, and I gave them in the preseason, Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier's 14-1 to make a Final Four. I know they haven't gotten there yet, but that's one I would look at. St. Mary's right now 20-1 to make a Final Four. TCU's jumped up. I would have given them out. They're plus 750 to make a Final Four. And then I think I look at Kansas State. 15-1 to make a Final Four.
Yeah.
They've already gotten wins at Texas and at Baylor. That's one I would look at. All right, tonight, big games. We have Alabama, Arkansas. Arkansas is laying 0.5 point. We have Xavier home to Creighton. Xavier's laying -2.5. Duke home to Pitt, laying 8.5. Marquette at home, catching 2.5 from UConn. Texas at home, laying 6.5 to TCU. Charleston laying 3 at UNC Wilmington. Any of those stick out to you right off the bat?
I was looking earlier at UNC Wilmington plus 3 against Charleston. You're telling me a home dog, low spread against a hot, trendy team? Like, yeah, is Charleston a good story? For sure. Are they by the computers, not by like my brain, by the computers, probably a top 22 team in the country. I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, they're like top 30 though.
Yeah, so
But yeah, you're speaking my language.
they're not going to go
Bulldogs,
undefeated in conference play. Is what I'm trying
right?
to get at. Like they're not going to go into the tournament as this Wichita State 30-1 team. So they're going to have to lose at some point. Maybe they can win off some free throws at the end of the game, but catch me with UNC Wilmington in the points.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Especially, I mean, listen, AP polls dumb as shit, but when you're a mid-major and you see a number next to the name, fans are going to start coming out to that too.
1,000%.
So like UNC Wilmington, it's not going to be Fog Allen, but it's going to be fans will be there for that game.
In KenPom right now, because I actually just looked it up. What do you think their rank is on KenPom?
Charleston?
Yeah.
33.
81.
Charleston's 80. Oh, Florida Atlantic's like 33 or so.
Yes, Florida Atlantic is like 37 in there. Like
Florida Atlantic's good.
Good.
I like this spot. I don't know how I feel about it. I have not pulled the trigger on this one yet. I think I'm going to take Arkansas. Alabama, like the spot of them coming off the ass kicking of Kentucky. Now you go to Bud Walton. Bud Walton is batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like Arkansas there. I'm going to see. I'm kind of monitoring the line. Like right now, it's a half a point. Arkansas laying. I hope Alabama somehow catches steam. And I hate to say this, but I kind of want to take Creighton plus 2.5.
Wow.
It's the perfect time to buy low on Creighton.
Yeah.
Right? And Xavier. I like the Xavier team a lot. And I know they're at home, but like they do have letdown spots. And they're coming off the win at Nova. They never beat Villanova. And you're coming off that win, going back home on a buy low spot.
Yeah.
Like that's where I am with Creighton. I don't know what to do with UConn Marquette because I love taking the small home dogs. Marquette's been way better than I thought. But UConn only given 2.5. I could see them just kind of punking Marquette, even though teams don't really punk Marquette. But I could see Sonogo just having a day.
Same.
And then
that's a gambler's pick would probably be Marquette, but my head's telling me just take UConn. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, and then I feel like Texas is giving a little too much, even at home, giving 6.5 to TCU.
Yeah, that when I saw that spread originally, I thought that was Vegas plugging in the numbers, seeing what came out, not really taking into effect what's really going on campus, in the locker room, around the scene, and TCU playing some good ball recently.
Yeah, they're finally healthy. That's like it's the perfect time to buy it. Perfect time to buy them was really like the last 2 games where they were finally coming back like at full health, and now this is like their top 15 team in the country for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I have I have one big betting strategy system play that I've done in 2023. I want to tell you about it. I want to hear your reaction because it's been flawless so far. If Georgetown's playing a team tough late in the first half, bet the other team. Live bet.
Yeah.
Every time. Like yesterday, Seton Hall was tied with them at halftime. I took Seton Hall immediately. That, and then the other thing I do is take good teams at home who are struggling, live bet them. Virginia yesterday, like Baycott and Nance out. Virginia was plus value, down 5 in the first half. So that's what I've been doing so far in 2023. That's my secret to everybody. It's not even a secret. Just bet good teams at home when they're losing. Kansas was plus 240 with 4 minutes to go yesterday. So that's it. All right, we're bringing back cuts. Like I said, I had to rant about Kentucky. I slept on it. I had to get it off my chest. Going forward, it will be more picks, chat questions, things like that, not Kentucky. I think Rico's going to hop on from time to time. He had something going on today, but he was texting me. And we'll get back to 2 times a week and doing, like I said, more pick stuff like we were doing before. Now that we have loaded slates. I think, Tuesday and Wednesday are always loaded, so we'll figure it out as we go, and what works best. So that's it for today. I'm taking Arkansas. I just decided I'm taking Arkansas. Arkansas money line.